Welcome back to Bio News Network for another edition of our English grammar tutorials. We're actually just taking a closer look at six words from our Perfect English Grammar series. I want to take a closer look at them just a little bit further so that they're more firmly ingrained in our memory. If you're new to this channel, please by all means make sure you check out our Perfect English Grammar course. So far we've covered 25 chapters covering up to 300 words pretty thoroughly, but we always want to touch base on some of the more difficult words in our series and also firmly ingrain these words into our memory so that we can have a better understanding of how these words are actually used in everyday language. By all means, hit the notification button and subscribe to this channel. So here we have six words we're going to be looking at: contentious, fallacious, mellifluous, oblivious, perfunctory, and precipitate. And if you recall from our word cloud storage memory system, we actually look at 12 storage bins. Now we're only going to be covering 6 words in this course so that we can actually focus more thoroughly on 6 of the more difficult words, and we'll continue to do so for quite a bit so that a lot of the words have a more in-depth, we have a more direct connection to these words through our word cloud storage system that we developed here to try and ingrain try and embed these words into our memory a little bit more firmer, looking at their synonym as well as their word definition and also picture to word association. Also, most importantly, now that we're just working with 6 words in a 12 cloud storage bin system, we can actually try and associate some of these words with different points in the body, so that's another memory point for us to make an association. So without further ado, let's take a look at oblivious at the very top. We can see here that oblivious, the synonym is absent, and adjective not aware of. Now it's attached to the here storage bin, and if you recall, these storage bins are broken into 4 groups: blue, orange, red, and a gray. And it's hair, ear, and mouth group. And we have the SSE groups, shoulder, stomach, elbow group, and then we have the AWH group, which is arm, wrist, hand, as well as KAF, which is a knee, ankle, and foot group. And then we assigned these words to different clouds depending on the more appropriate association to the storage bin on the human body to help us remember the word. So we have oblivious, and we attached it to the here storage bin, and it means not aware of or absent. Let's see how it's actually used in a sentence. We can see here the use of GMO, genetically modified organism, in the production of food products is a very contentious issue among consumers worldwide. Adjective meaning controversial. If we actually go back to our word group here, we see that we have 2 words from the sentence that we actually associated with the recall, and we have found in our lessons from our Perfect English Grammar series that goes from volume 1 all the way to volume 3, chapter 5. We see here that we take 2 of the words from the actual sentence, and then we can increase our recall. This has become a very, very powerful way to increase the recall of these words. The contentious, we see here that we see from our word cloud storage that word contentious means combative. Adjective likely to cause argument, and we saw here in the use of the word the use of GMOs in the production of food, and then we have the recall, 2 key words from the sentence, GMO and consumer. And what that actually does is that by actually focusing on the word with 2 words from the sample sentence, this is going to increase your retention of that word. So when you see the word contentious, you're actually associating 2 keywords from the sample sentence GMO and consumer. Let's take another look at another one, fallacious. Fallacious, we see here from our word storage bin, that means false or based on falsehood. Fallacious. Let's see how it's actually used in a sentence. The waitress refused to agree with a customer's fallacious conclusion that his vegetarian soup contained pieces of raw beef. Adjective meaning to have errors. So when we go back to our main screen here, we see that we're associating two keywords of soup and raw beef. And we can actually see the association here. Let's see what kind of picture to word association. Fallacious, we have and then we have the synonym false, and the picture to word association is simply a bold word meaning fake, adjective based on falsehood. And then we have our next word, which is going to be mellifluous, and that has to do with the definition. Let's take a look at it. Jim has such a mellifluous voice that he always made friends quite easily. Adjective meaning very sweet sounding or pleasant sounding. If we see here from our word cloud storage, we see here that it's one of the words in the blue group, and it means mellow or pleasant to hear. And then we see, of course, the pleasantness of that picture. So also we attached it to the mouth. Most importantly, we attached it to the mouth storage bin. So now that we have mellifluous attached to the mouth storage bin is another association to firmly implant the word mellifluous and what it actually means. So there we have two keywords from the actual sample sentence, and we can see here it means smooth. The two words are smooth and voice, mellifluous. So the three words that we're focused on so far in this lesson: contentious, fallacious, and then we have mellifluous. Our next word is oblivious, and we can see here that oblivious means not aware of. Picture to word association is very important. So we see someone here who seems startled or unaware or absent. Synonym meaning absent. Now it's attached to the hair storage bin simply because that's the closest area to the head. And oblivious meaning unaware, so that's another association to remember. The storage bin that it's attached to is a hair storage bin. Oblivious, absent. So that will be another mechanism for you to actually remember these words. Okay, so now we've actually covered 4 words so far. Let's just finish up this set, and we have here we're looking at perfunctory. Let's see how it's actually used in a sentence. Perfunctory. The sheriff complained about the perfunctory job completed by the scuba divers who attempted to find the murder weapon in the swamp. Adjective meaning superficial. So if we actually look back here, we see there are 2 keywords, are swamp and weapon. And once we're done with these 6 words, we'll focus on actually what's actually happening with these keywords so that we can actually quickly go back to the memory of the sample sentence, which will actually trigger memory of how the word is used. Perfunctory is actually used here. Synonym careless, and we see someone's picture the word, a shoe stepping into some bubble gum on a pavement, which most people hate, but it's done with minimal effort. Adjective, done with minimal effort. Perfunctory. So now we know that this word has to do with minimal effort, and we're associating the word swamp and weapon, those 2 keywords from our sample sentence. So our next one is precipitate. Precipitate. The breach of the dam was precipitated by the heavy rainfall. Verb meaning to cause, to make happen very quickly. So if we actually see here on our word cloud storage, precipitate was actually assigned to the elbow group because we thought that was going to be the most appropriate storage bin on the human body to assign it to, because the elbow actually comes before the arm and the wrist and the hand. So if you want to remember that before wrist as a keyword, and then we associate it with synonym advance, cause to happen suddenly. Precipitate could also be viewed as as a result of solution in a chemistry lab also. So there are multiple meanings and definitions for the word, but it all has to do with the context and how the word is actually used. So if we look at the keywords, we can see here that the two keywords are dam and rainfall, and let's see why. Um, the breach of the dam was precipitated by the heavy rainfall to cause to make happen very quickly. So there we have 6 words, and if we can quickly here, we can see here contentious, GMO consumer, that had to do with a sample sentence where it was a contentious or controversial issue with respect to GMOs in consumers' food. So the two keywords actually allow us to quickly go back to the sample sentence without actually remembering it. Soup, raw beef, had to do with the waitress and the issue whether the vegetarian soup actually had raw beef. And then mellifluous had to do with Jim, and we remember that sample sentence had to do with smooth voice. And then oblivious had to do with unaware or damage. And there's the other thing too, when you recall these words in this format, you'll also remember their picture to word association, and that will be a map back to the synonym, and that will most likely trigger your memory for remembering which storage bin it's actually used. So there are different triggers. We see oblivious, unaware, damage, and that had to do with unaware of the damage with respect to the the men who were oblivious to the extent of the damage, to be unaware of something. And then we see that perfunctory. We're also spending a little bit more time on the correct pronunciations of the word also. Perfunctory, swamp weapon. It had to do with the sheriff scrutinizing the superficial or careless job of the scuba divers who were searching for the murder weapon. And then we have precipitate, and this is going to be our 6th word here. And the breach of the dam was precipitated by heavy rainfall. So the key words combined with our word cloud storage system, we have found, based on feedback, that these are the most powerful ways to actually recall the word. If not the word itself you remember, but a definition attached to the synonym, or the picture to word association. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, and in many cases when it comes to memory mnemonics, it truly is. So this is another way for you to remember how the actual word is used. And here we have 2 of the words, contentious and fallacious. So that rounds out 6 words that we're covering today in our English lesson, English grammar lesson. By all means, replay this video so that you're actually firmly ingraining the definition of these words in your memory, and of course reference back to our full course tutorial, which is 25 chapters covering up to 300 words. So thank you for tuning in to Abound News Network for another edition of our English Grammar Word series. We're actually looking at this particular point more of the more difficult words to remember, firmly ingraining these words. We're actually going to be working on just looking at 6 words at a time, the more difficult ones, as we prepare for TOEFL or SAT or any kind of standardized exam coming up. We hope this served you well. It was only 6 words, but we hope that this helped you to expand your vocabulary as well as fine-tune your English grammar skills by looking at how these words are actually used in sample sentences. By all means, please make sure that you subscribe and like, share, and also hit that notification bell for our next English Grammar Word series. Take a look at 6 more words, firmly ingraining them in our memory using the latest tools such as our vocabulary keyword system as well as our word cloud storage system, which incorporates storage bins along the human body. We've been using these powerful memory mnemonics throughout the entire course of our Perfect English Grammar series, and the links are actually in the video description box if you'd like to go ahead and zoom real quickly to the volumes and the chapters that are available to you. Well, thanks for tuning into Banyo's Artwork. We hope this served you well. Thank you for all of our subscribers, and have a great day.